Monday here in Tampa Bay, and it definitely feels like a Monday. Not only did I have an allergic reaction in the middle of Target yesterday, but I had one in the middle of the night last night. Apparently, I was having a terrible coughing fit and I didn't even wake up because you see, I have narcolepsy, so I sleep hard. And I also take strong medication at night to help regulate my sleep cycle for my narcolepsy. So I didn't wake up, which is actually pretty dangerous. Judd isn't always here at night, so I think I'm gonna have to train Harlow to wake me up if I start coughing in the middle of the night, which is one of my first signs that I'm having an allergic reaction. So anyways, Judd woke me up, immediately sprung into action like he did at Target, gave me the IV Benadryl, and we were able to abort it with just one dose, which is a huge blessing. No epinephrine, no anaphylaxis, no hospital. That is great. But even though we aborted it with the Benadryl, it still takes a hard toll on my body, the allergic reaction does. And I just didn't sleep well the rest of the night, so I'm not feeling great today. But that's okay, because I'm just going to rest this morning. So anyways, now that Judd and I have done the IV Benadryl twice during an allergic reaction, we found some issues we need to sort out. The biggest one being that I don't have the ability to draw medication out of a vial with a syringe while I'm in the middle of a reaction. I mean, I'm struggling to breathe. I am itching and burning so much that it's driving me completely mad. I'm trying to stay calm. I'm losing sensation in my fingertips. There's just a lot going on for me, and it's overwhelming. You know, I can't do it. So drawing out medication myself was not feasible. So Judd, being the brilliant man he is, don't know what I'd do without him, gave me this kit. My protocol for administering medication is to first do a saline flush through my port, and this is pre-primed, meaning the air has been taken out, so I don't have to worry about anything. I just hook it up and push it through. Then, the medication, another saline flush, and a heparin flush, which is a blood thinner. You put it in your port to lessen the chances of getting a blood clot, and then I just put a new swab cap, which has alcohol in it to keep the ends sterile. So my kit is perfect and all pre-primed. Now, our next issue was when he drew the medication out, obviously he used a needle. So we were out in public with a needle and no sharps container. We didn't even think about it. So I was looking around and saw, you know, we have a bunch of these caps that we usually throw out from the saline flushes because we use so many of them. But they fit perfectly, see, they're the same, on the medication syringes. So now, what's even better is the medication can't accidentally be pushed out. When there's a syringe on it, medication can easily be pushed out. So no needles, no medication loss, that's perfect. The only thing I'm waiting on now is my home health company to call me and tell me how long the medication will last in the syringe instead of the vials. So we sorted out our issues. I haven't administered my own IV medication in an allergic reaction, but Judd said the next time I have one, he's going to have me do it and help walk me through it, because again, I just get overwhelmed. So I would be able to safely administer my own medication in an emergency. So, sorted out those issues, that's awesome. Now I want to show you guys how I draw medication out of the vials and make my own pre-drawn syringes. So there will be needles in this part, so if you're needle phobic, go ahead and skip this. I'm going to put the time where I'm done with the needles down here. Alright, so first, hand sanitizer. Always want to be as sterile and clean as possible. Then I just pop the little cap off. Pop. Take an alcohol swab. Thoroughly clean the top because the needle's going to go through that little rubber part. And this is my Zofran that I use for nausea and vomiting. Then I open the needle. Pop the top off, boop, and I just pop it in, turn it upside down, and I keep the needle as close to the bottom as possible so I can get all the medication out. Steadily draw back, if I can. Got all the medicine out. Then I flick it to get the drops to the bottom. Push up until it's all the way in what we call the neck of the needle, because you don't want any air. There we go. Then, you won't be able to see this, but I don't ever put it on like this. I place the cap on the floor and slide the needle into it because I Don't want to risk the needle poking me, so I just slid it in, pop it back on. Now I'm going to take another alcohol swab, thoroughly clean the saline flush cap. So now that is all alcohol swabbed. Twist off the needle. This goes in the sharps container. And ta-da! I've got my dose of Zofran for nausea and vomiting. And yes, they look similar. You know, one's at 1 milliliter and this one's at 2, but I color code them. Red on the bottom with Sharpie for Benadryl, and I'm going to put blue on the bottom for Zofran. And that's how I do my meds. Well, after lots of rest, a long nap, 2 of my 4 breathing treatments of the day, and my morning meds, I'm feeling a lot better. Not 100%, but I'm getting there. Har and I have a few errands to run that are thankfully very close to home, so we're gonna go do that. But first, I'm letting her burn some energy here at the neighborhood dog park. It's a little bit warm out, 77 degrees, which is kind of my threshold for heat intolerance. I'm very heat intolerant due to my postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, so I'm probably only gonna last about 5 or 10 minutes. But hey, I'm gonna enjoy it while I can. Happy girl. So y'all may be wondering what the heat does to me. Well, when our bodies become hot, our blood vessels automatically dilate, and our heart compensates to pump blood by beating a little faster. Well, I already have that problem due to my POTS, so my heart rate will get really fast, I'll get dizzy, weak, nauseous, and I'll actually pass out. Heat is my #1 syncope trigger, and like I said, 77 degrees is kind of my threshold, but if I go outside for more than a few minutes when it's over 80 degrees, I will definitely pass out, and it becomes an emergency situation because my autonomic nervous system cannot get blood where it needs to be to its vital organs and things like that. So I usually end up having to go to the hospital if it's a heat-related syncope. Sometimes we can avoid it, but not always. And yes, living in Florida is tricky, but no, we're not moving because Judd's about to start his career here and I am not paying out-of-state tuition for college. I'm just very careful, and that is why winter is my favorite season. So anyways, now we are going to go to our first stop, which is Office Depot. So my health company called back and they told me that the medication will last in the pre-drawn syringe for 48 hours. So I'm looking for labels that I can write the date and time I make them on so I know when they expire. But they don't have pink labels. What kind of nonsense is that? Harlow, you see any pink labels? No? You say, I'm colorblind. Actually, that's not true. You're so happy here. You're a good dog. Alrighty, I think I found the perfect size here. I can put the date on one and the time on another and they'll stick perfectly. What do you think? Yeah. There's a Dollar Tree right next to Office Depot, so I couldn't help but come in here and browse around a little bit. I also realized I left my mask in the car, but we don't even know if it works because we don't know what triggers my idiopathic anaphylaxis. Idiopathic means unknown origin, so I don't feel the need to like rush back and get it. I'll only be in here a few minutes anyway, so oh well. Harlow, hold it. Good girl. There's a tutorial for this on my YouTube channel for teaching your dog how to hold things if y'all are interested. Good girl, Harlow, this way. So this is my VOG mask. It's supposed to filter out allergens. Again, we don't know how well it works, but the hospital's attending allergists recommended that I use it because it's an extra precaution and it couldn't hurt. So anyways, now Harlow and I are going to go to our last stop, which is Publix, because I need some ingredients for dinner. And Publix is actually really hard for me because of my autism and my SPD, sensory processing disorder. Basically, what happens is I get in there and there's just so many sights and sounds and smells, and what a normal person could handle, my brain can't. It just cannot process that incoming stimuli correctly, and I become very overwhelmed. And the way my sensory overload presents itself is I become very unfocused and disoriented, and I will actually get lost in Publix and go around and around and around for hours, completely lost. So that's why I always go shopping with Judd, because I can follow his lead and I'm fine. But on days like today when I have to go by myself, or I want to go by myself to practice as my occupational therapist has told me to, I'll go in and I'll have store associates help me. The reason I can do places like Office Depot and the Dollar Tree by myself is because one, Office Depot was completely empty, very quiet, and I did actually need help from an associate to get from the label section to the checkout. And Dollar Tree is very small.
And I don't know, that's just how my brain is. Publix is very difficult, but those two aren't. And I think it's because those environments are a lot more low-key than Publix. So anyways, I'm gonna go do that now, and we can tackle it, and we can do it. Harlow, finish. Finish. Good girl, let's go. Come on. Good girl. Okay, y'all, that was an amazing shopping trip for a few reasons. One, I made it from the entrance to the deli section all by myself. I've only done that once, so that was awesome. Two, I didn't need an associate to go around the entire store with me. I just needed help getting from the deli section to the meat section, and then from the meat section to the checkout section. So that was a good trip for me. I know that shopping in Publix seems like a mundane task, but for me, because of my autism and my SPD, it's a little difficult, so I'm proud of myself for that. Then, Harlow was a superstar because while we were checking out, some kids brought in a bouncy ball and they threw it right by her nose, and then a stampede of like 3 little kids ran right after it. So that is a huge temptation for a service pup in training. Harlow instantly went, what is that? But she didn't break her stay, and then I told her, leave it, watch me, and she did. And then as we walked out, she didn't even look at the commotion the kids were making. So that was awesome of Harlow. I'm proud of myself, I'm proud of my dog. That was a good shopping trip, and now I need to settle down because I'm tiring myself out. I'm tired from the errands, so now I'm going to go home and rest, and I'm really proud of us. We are a good team. Well, Harlow and I are home now. I have rested a little bit. Harlow is happily chewing on her toy, and I have successfully put the labels onto my medication syringes, and I put the date and time so I'll know exactly when it expires, which is 48 hours after I draw it out of the vial. I could put the name of the medication too, but I think the color coding works much better in an emergency. Benadryl, Zofran, and I found this pretty pouch to use instead of the glasses case Judd gave me. I'll use this in the meantime. I actually ordered a pouch online that I want to use to store all my IV medication and supplies. I think it's really cute and funny. I will show it to y'all when it arrives. It's going to be a little bit of a surprise. And yeah, that's it. I'm just going to keep resting, and I'm going to wait for Judd to get home. Well, that's it for today. Judd's making his very brief appearance because he's super busy and pretty much never home. And that's it. Thanks for joining us today. Fingers crossed for no allergic reactions, even though we're pretty good at handling them now. And we will see y'all tomorrow. Bye!